Welcome guys to another episode of Friday night, and we're quite excited to be with you guys. It's a brand new year. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens in the market, especially with crypto regulation just around the corner. So yeah, Smiles, Smokey, it's good to have you guys here. How's the week been treating you?
Hey man, it's been good, it's been interesting. So yeah, let's see what tonight brings.
Smiles, you've been doing well?
Yeah, I'm fine. We're definitely looking at what Bitcoin is doing. Checking out exactly what's happening.
Yeah, I think, guys, without further ado, let's actually jump into some news just to have a discussion. I think everyone's obviously waiting for this 100K. Everyone's been talking about the 100K happening at the end of the year, which didn't happen. And I think we've obviously discussed last week some of the reasons this might be. But just looking at the news, you can see in the news people are expecting this rally to happen. And I think the FOMC that's happened yesterday with the Federal Reserve not really taking the best approach to the start of this year. But I think overall what we can see in the news is that people are expecting this Bitcoin bull to go. Personally, I don't see it happening just as of yet. I think there's a lot of regulation that needs to make it more clear on what's going to happen. But yeah, let's. I think it's curious to see what's going to come from this. Sorry, Smokes.
No, I was just going to say that apparently the stream is offline, but I see it's online again. People just notified us, but it's working, so that's great. So sorry, please continue.
No problem. So I think, guys, looking at where Bitcoin is right now, I think we can anticipate that a lot of people would be trying to get the best possible entries. It seems like regardless of regulation coming in, people are excited about the ETFs from Bitcoin launching. I think the main reason for that is like I've explained to some of the people, that we're going to be seeing a lot of people retiring now in the boomer generation, and they're a bunch of greedy people, most of them. So they're going to want to see that their retirement money is giving them the best results. They're not going to get that in normal stocks and fiat right now. So we're going to wanting to see these boomers wanting to push all of that retirement bonds and money into the crypto market in order to kind of get the gains that they want to see. So I think everyone right now is waiting for regulation to come to make the crypto space a much more safer environment for the big money to come in. So without that being said, I think let's go to the charts and have a look at what Bitcoin exactly is doing right now.
100%. Look, it's definitely an interesting topic now, looking as, you know, the regulations are being tightened up in the sort of US from the monetary policy. So that is a bit of a concern in the crypto space. But like we've discussed earlier today, going into like, you know, the whole movement, where is the money shifting? Where is the money movements going to come from? And where are we seeing, you know, potential, you know, shifts, whether it be stock markets and other financial instruments, and then looking at the crypto space. What we did speak about earlier that I just want to, you know, highlight again was the fact that we saw that the consumer pricing index showed that there was an increase in consumer spend, and that in the US especially, and that they are looking at taking full capacity when it comes to the workforce heading into the new year, which looks quite promising and can spike a sort of more bullish sentiment in the market from investors. Now, the other thing that we spoke about when we look and talk about price was that because we see that potential positivity from a consumer perspective, is that we could potentially see, with price coming down, you know, being sort of at a discounted price, that could spike interest in these, you know, cryptocurrency projects where there is more gains to be made than some of the traditional investments, which you also mentioned, you know, that could spike some interest, you know, whether, you know, referring to bonds and that type of stuff, but looking at your traditional, you know, investments compared to cryptocurrency where there's much better yields. Now, looking at Bitcoin currently, we've been chatting about it almost the whole day and looking at what price is going to do. Now, what I want to point out on the 4 hour is that we are still looking at a bullish scenario here if we look at sort of the overall market structure that I've been pointing out the last couple of weeks, we can see that we still have that sort of bullish continuation. We have not broken below this range that we see here. So until we've broken below this, I'm still going to say we might be surprised and Bitcoin could fool us for a potential move to the upside. Now, like we've said with a couple of things in the financial markets, there's a lot of variables and factors that we can consider and that we need to look at closely in order to see what the market is actually going to do. Now, if we scale down to a lower time frame, looking at the daily, we can see that, you know, the current trend is still a bit bearish. We called the drop, was it yesterday that we posted it in the group about,
so,
you know, I think it was yesterday, around about 151. We said the price is still going to continue down, and Smiley, you actually called it quite nicely, the price fetching this week of liquidity. So that was quite interesting to see, just to get sort of more a better understanding of what the market is doing. Now, if we go a bit more into the detail of the current price action, just want to scale down to the 4 hours so you can see a little bit more. So we've drawn out this channel while we were discussing the charts before the show. Is we can see price moving, you know, in this channel, and we can see that this current candle is showing some bullish pressure with the equal lows on the candle body from a pure price action perspective, which is quite interesting. We can see that this candle body is engulfing about 2/3 of the previous body's candle, or the mother bar as we call it, and that could potentially show a bullish continuation. Now, that is not in itself enough confirmation for a potential bullish move. We would need to see price break out of this channel and ideally break above this sort of zone to see a potential bullish continuation. So just keep that in mind, with that in mind, that if we do see this push up, we can expect the price to continue once we've broken above these zones.
But that could also be a fake, right? It can it could also be let's say like a stop hunt at the top before going down.
Well, look, if we look at the overall structure, right, we've got this as the major sort of swing high, essentially this range that we see here. So that would be a strong sign of a bullish potential move. But what we want to look at now is we want to see a sign of strength for a first or earlier indication, which would be a break above this consolidation here as a first sign. Then what price could do, if we look at this as a trading range, we could potentially see price trade out of this, tap into this, fail to break this high, and then see a push down into a continuation from a higher time frame perspective. But if we look at the higher time frame and we look at sort of the 4 hour time frame and stuff looks to be aligned for a potential move to the upside. Now, if we can look at the 4 hour as our first indication for bullish intent, we would want to see a break above, pullback, and then a potential continuation if we break above this zone. That is what we want to see in a bullish scenario. Now, Smiles, I've spoken enough here. What do you have to say about this? I know you're super excited and you've been watching the charts almost the whole day. What is your take? What do you see now in the market, and what can you give us?
All right, Smokey, thanks for that, and Stony. Right, from my own perspective, actually, what I'm looking at was that I actually there was this buy setup I placed at 41,230 zone, and price came, smacked the entry and went a little bit, and when price was coming back, we have a reversal and price cleared it. Now, for price to clear that zone, I'm looking for more lower prices, right? And potentially, looking at the 4 hour time frame, we can see this base drop base actually, or let's say this kind of structural movement of price. Right now, Smokey, I think I'm in agreement with what you said. I'm thinking we need a break of. To me, we need a potential break of the zone of 43,335 to 43,806 zone. we need to break that zone from the 4 hours perspective. Actually, with upside, but failure to break this zone, and we let's say at the end of today we have a close below 40,652 zone, then I'm looking at more lower prices from that was what I was really expecting. I was like, the moment price sniped my entry at 41,230, I'm not expecting price to come down again. But price did come down to grab liquidity again, which also, from what Tony said, if we did not have a full candle, at least 3-4 hourly candle above the resistance of 43,335 zone, then that might be a fake out. So I think I'm in line with what Tony said, and also in line with what Smokey said. We need a clear break of this resistance to see a continuation to the upside. So I think Tony should have some fundamental view from this, because I saw recently today I saw a kind of news, more like a food news, that was saying even think if we have Bitcoin, we should sell Bitcoin, stuff like that. I think that will cause price to crash again. Right now, I think price is being governed with food aspect. I think we need to clear this spoken.
No, 100%. Look, personally, I mean, we trade the charts. We don't trade the news. We do consider, some, valid news, and that's why obviously Stoney provides us with the most relevant fundamental news. So just coming back to what you said, and obviously to answer Stoney's question, is we need to see a candle body close above this range that we've mapped out in order to validate that this is true intent. If we are seeing a move where we have this candle with obviously a wick, that doesn't look so lekker. So if we see a candle body, like that, then obviously that will be a fake move. So we need to obviously be mindful of that moves, and this is why we need to wait for candle body close before we can actually make a clear decision on what and how price is moving. So if we see a weak rejection from that zone like this, then we know price wants to continue lower down. So we need to make sure that we see a candle close on the 4 hour as a minimum indication, and then still watch what price is doing. And ideally, first price would be a solid candle body close on the daily to give us stronger confirmation from a higher time frame premise. And that's what I would say on the charts that we are looking at for the crypto market, as Bitcoin is our lead indicator, and we need to obviously watch that. One thing that I want to point out, just talking charts and stuff, is, guys, we need to look at, we've warned our members of Doge breaking below the 0.16 level. Now, with price breaking below this level, this for me personally, I'm not personally in Doge, but looking at the overall structure, what we've said in our report for our trade members is like, you need to be mindful, if you are in this coin, that if we have a solid candle close below this level tonight, we need to be mindful and really carefully consider the risk involved, because once price breaks below this level, there's not going to be much stopping it to potentially continue much lower down. So please be mindful of this, because this is not ideal. There's not much stopping it here in terms of price action due to this clean price action for price to continue down lower, so we can potentially see something like this. So just be mindful of this.
So I think what's very interesting is, if we kind of look at what's going on in the news, we can see the whales are busy buying in on Bitcoin right now. Going through this article, we can see that over 5,300 Bitcoins bought by 3 whales. Now, these are not by far the largest addresses, but it gives us a good indication on what kind of levels these big wallets are looking at it buying. And the fact that you can see that they're buying around this level, it seems like a very strong resisting level before it might go up. But it can also be a case of, if there's enough institutional players within this crypto market, they can essentially pull that market down, essentially taking out those wallets, because that's, in the end of the day, it's the bankers between each other, and we're kind of caught in the middle of that crossfire. So it's extremely interesting to see whether these Bitcoin wallets buying in now is a preparation for the big uprun, or if these Bitcoin wallets buying in now is a possible dangerous move before the banks come and actually take their profit before buying in for the big run. So it's going to be a very interesting 2 weeks, I think, ahead of us.
No, for sure. I mean, it's definitely been an interesting couple of weeks looking at over December, looking how, essentially volume has dropped in the market. As we know, a lot of the institutions are away, but we know that institutions sell high and buy low. So they sell to buy and buy to sell. So this is very important, and if we look at market structure and how it's formed, we need to be mindful of this, because the institutions and the commercials are wanting to increase their portfolio and their holdings, as they are inevitably going to become the custodians of crypto. Well, let's hope it doesn't happen, but in reality they have much more buying power, so they will automatically be able to buy more than us to sort of take over the control of the market, like we've seen in some of the other financial markets. So they're definitely buying. We are not seeing the spikes as much because the volume is so low. So it's just taking up easily, and we will only see the after effect potentially after next week, when the institutions come back and we see them starting to make their place in the market. But this is purely to, I believe, entice people to get into the market, to lower the barrier to entry so that people can buy. I mean, if we look at some of the top 20 coins like Luna at $71, it's an absolute steal. We were, not long ago, we were just above the $100 level. So that's a 30% discount, essentially. So that's really nice. This is still in a bullish continuation. We haven't broken structure, apart from obviously this minor structure here. So we would need to see if this forms a potential bearish continuation. But at this point in time, I'd be buying this to add to my position. Obviously, the lower you buy, the better. So if we can, get sort of buy entries around the $60 or even the $50, just talking around levels, that'll be freaking amazing to add to your positions. So,
and it's interesting to see some of these big projects that have run in the last, month that we've spoken about. They're quite exhausted right now, so we can expect them to come back, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be going, in a bearish downtrend. They might just be exhausting, calming a bit down before making another move up. We can see that some of these projects have tremendous support, not even from institutions or banks, from retailers like us. So you can see that there are these underlying projects that will continue to perform as long as the underlying technology can actually be used one day.
No, for sure. I think there's huge potential. We just need to figure out and see what is happening with the regulations and how does this affect us getting our hands on these projects and making sure that we can make sound investments and also great trading, potentials. But at the moment, we are just waiting for that, indication, and we will be touching base with you guys and making sure that we let everyone know that once we see that here is a bullish intent and we are seeing a bullish continuation now, then we will definitely let you guys know. So if you guys like that, please type in 777 and let us know that you guys are understanding the concepts and that you are understanding what we are saying and that it adds value to your trading portfolio and your investing portfolio. Also, I'd like to just point out we are busy with the TradeAcade University, which will be, we're almost ready to launch. We've got some small things to iron out, but we are going to release the early models very, very soon. So please watch the channels.
I'm even excited for it.
Get in touch with the tonoit team, and reach out to the Moonacade members, because they are the guys backing and behind this with us at TradeAcade. So this is going to be super exciting. We are working on a bunch of other projects, which I'm going to keep for a later stage, which will roll out in the sort of later part of this month as well, hopefully, and then beginning Feb. So in the first quarter, there's big things happening. So please like and subscribe so that we can obviously get you guys on the notifications list, so that you guys can be in touch with what's happening.
Sorry, Smoke. So can we actually go to Ethereum? So we've discussed Bitcoin now. I want to have a look at Ethereum, what Ethereum is doing. I think it's having a bit of a different reaction to Bitcoin. What I'm seeing in the news as well is, although I think you can similarly compare like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu as having a fight off, I think you can also see that Ethereum is now starting to see the results of not being as innovative as its counterparts, as they're not only taking away additional apps, but you can see they're taking away some whales as well. So I want to kind of have a discussion on Ethereum just to see what the outlook is on it and how it's kind of reacting, towards the market right now.
Well, one thing I can say, looking at Ethereum, it's not the only project that's getting, affected by Bitcoin's move. Like, we've seen a massive drop in Ethereum, battling to stay above the $4,000 level. We really battle to sort of break, and stay above this level. But if we look at, its competitor like Avex as well, Solana, these guys have also had massive deep retracements. And if you look at Solana, for example, versus Ethereum, look at this, particular market structure versus Ethereum, and you'll see it's a very similar pattern. So, Ethereum might lose, a bit of, traction in the market, but I still do not, discard Ethereum as being sort of becoming obsolete. We can still see from an overall market structure, we can see this massive impulse here that's shown us in 10. We had a cool down phase. We then started having a bullish continuation with a bit of an ABC correction here, and then seeing another leg up, creating new highs. And then we've now been in this sort of bearish market structure for the last bit since the end of mid-November till now. So it's not quite dead yet. I don't think it's going to disappear like Bitcoin as well. It will be around. It might lose some popularity in there, but it will always be around. So I'm not particularly too worried about that. All this spells out for me is great buying opportunity as we see these projects work. I still believe, I know you've mentioned with them sort of opening up and sort of dropping, I think it's the whitelisting of their projects.
It has caused some damage.
It has caused some damage, yes. But like we know, with technology, there is good and bad that comes from it. So it's important that once something happens, it's important to see what is the reaction and the sort of the reaction to what the market is doing, to see how they rectify it, because that will ultimately determine whether or not this will be good for Ethereum long term.
I think the big thing that people need to remember is the whole point of what we're trying to showcase and teach is, it's not, forgetting the terms hodling or FOMO. It's about accumulating what's actually going to matter one day. You can trade Bitcoin and Ethereum as much as you want. In the end of the day, there's going to be something that's going to be valuable, and you want as much of that kind of accumulated over time, because you won't get as much of it in a year or 2 years, but over time, accumulating it's going to put you in the best possible position. And they most likely, what they teach in the financial industry to most people that become investors or new time investors, is they would try and teach you to at least keep your investment for a minimum of 5 years, up to 10 years. This is how insurance companies and financial institutions discuss with their clients and actually have contractual agreements to it. So you can see that even they have this hodling mindset of teaching people to give us the money for as long as possible so we can try and be innovative with it. Yes, we're going to have cyber attacks. Yes, we're going to fail. Yes, the rocket's going to crash. But over time, we're going to grow. And I think we're seeing the first turn here where I think with the Bitcoin ETFs coming in, you're going to see a lot of retail investors pushing money in in a very safe way. Why? Because that money is guaranteed at least for the next 3 to 5 years and not going to be taken out of the market, which will give enough liquidity, I think, in the crypto space to drive a hell of a lot of innovation. So I'm quite excited to see what's going to come this year.
Smile, do you have anything to say there? What is your thoughts on Ethereum? I'm just looking at Shiba Inu as well. What is your thoughts on Ethereum? Are you still keen on the project from a trading perspective, investing perspective? What is your thoughts?
All right, man. To be sincere, 100%. I won't lie. I've not been checking what Ethereum have been doing because my main focus was on Bitcoin. So unless I sit down and do my analysis on Ethereum to know what next to happen. So that's it, man.
Cool. Yeah, I see Vicky's saying the 777 there. Thank you for that, Vicky. It's glad to see that we can add some value to your portfolio and help you make better decisions. That's going to be exciting, yeah. And I'm excited for Sunday. Let's see what this market's going to do, guys. We can also see that, it is Friday, the 7th of Jan, and we have had quite a bearish day today. But we need to see if we're going to have a push in the next couple of hours up until, in the next 3 hours. We need to see what the intention is of the move. Are we going to see a move in the next 3 to maybe 5 hours? Are we going to see a push above, or are we going to see a continuation into Saturday morning? That will give us an indication of where the market is going, keeping in mind weekend a lot of retail traders are trading, and we should see a bit of action over the weekend, and we'll be watching that closely. And then we will discuss on Sunday with our report release for the members. We will put out the new data for the new week, and then look at what the changes is to the potential plays that we have lined up and where we can see optimal buying opportunities for your portfolios. All right, guys, that's it from me. I don't know if you guys want to add anything, but I think, we've outlined what we want to see. If we do not see a break above this range as a first indication tonight, or maybe by tomorrow morning, I foresee that we can see a potential continuation to the downside.
We'll just have to wait till Sunday and see, hey?
Let's see what happens. Let's see. But it's going to be interesting to see in the next few hours. So I'll be watching this closely. Probably won't sleep tonight. But Smile, are you joining me? Cool. Okay, well, let's chat offline and let's do some analysis and see where this thing goes and see if we can map out tomorrow's structure. Take it from there.
All right, man.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel if you find the content relevant and you find that it is of value to you. And if you want to be more informed and get into the more detail of our reports and what we are bringing, please get in touch with the Moonacade and the tonoit team, and they will put you in contact with us and the right people. Thanks for watching and have a good evening. We'll chat to you on Sunday.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.